friends, it's Kaylin here, and today's video I am going to talk to you a little bit about the experience I had in talking with the National Mother of the Year back from 2013 is when she was the National Mother of the Year, and her name is Judy Cook. We had a small group of women that were kind of came together, and she was the keynote speaker. There were only probably about 20 of us, so it was a really small group, and I just had the most uplifting and encouraging time listening to her and just hearing her ideas and her words and what she did to be nominated and then win the National Mother of the Year. So let's go ahead and have this little chat about my conversation with Judy Cook, the National Mother of the Year. So, as I mentioned, Judy Cook won the National Mother of the Year in 2013, and back in 2013 is when I actually had this conversation with her. So, I am recapping something that I have been looking back on and kind of refreshing myself for the past 3 years. I really found it super encouraging, and she is just the nicest lady. She lived in my neighborhood, and so a couple of women, we kind of got together and they held this evening where Judy was going to be the keynote speaker. And it was just kind of this intimate little group that we got to sit and chat with her. So I wanted to share with you a couple of things that she gave, just bits of encouragement as the National Mother of the Year. And coming from her, it just meant so much to me. So I'm hoping that for you, as you're sitting and watching this video, that you also find some encouragement from her. Again, these aren't my words, these aren't my thoughts, these are from Judy, but I just really have felt so encouraged from them over the last 3 years as I have reflected on this meeting that we had with her then. So I have my notes written on paper here, so I'm gonna just kind of glance down as we have a little chat, and hopefully this video won't run too long, but knowing me, it probably will, because I just like to chat sometimes about topics that are really near and dear to my heart, which motherhood is for sure one of them. Okay, so let's chat for just a minute. The first thing that Judy gave us, she said that we needed to enjoy the moment before it's gone. And as a mother, I feel so many times that I'm caught up in the moment. In fact, just today I was at Walmart with my kids and I'm on the phone with my sister, which for the first problem was that I was on the phone in Walmart, which is my first mistake. You should never be taking a phone call while you're trying to juggle kids and be in Walmart. It's just all too much. So there was my first mistake. But as I was sitting in Walmart and my son is going up and down the aisles telling me everything that we need to buy for Christmas, and my daughter was in the cart and she was getting into everything that was in arm's reach, and I just remember sighing to my sister on the phone being like, oh, I love my children, can you take them for a day? And thinking of these words from Judy Cook, to take the moment and to love the moments because they're going to be gone. I find myself often having these thoughts of like, my kids are growing and they're growing so quickly, and I want them to be around me and near me, and I want my little 4-year-old to keep this personality where he wants to be my best friend and hang out with mom and be with mom. And I know that those years are fleeting by, and you know, my sister has older kids, and you probably have friends with older kids, or maybe you yourself have older children, and you can nod your head in agreement with Judy's words about how important it is to cherish the moments that we have, because they truly will be gone, and the children will grow and then they are gone, and it goes by so quickly. So the first words of encouragement that I've always kind of looked back on was to cherish those moments while we're having them, because so quickly they will be gone. So that was the first little tip. Okay, so the second little tip that she says is to lose yourself. And she talked quite a bit about this, and I remember, even though it was so long ago, I remember her talking about how we as women have, especially me, I have so many other hobbies that I want to do and so many other things that are on my plate. And we really do need to lose ourselves in the work of raising kids. And part of my the purpose of this channel, Full Purpose and Heart, and that is that we do raise our children with all of our hearts and really try to purpose our lives to investing in theirs. And in order to do that, we really do have to just fall into it and love it and lose ourselves in the work. You know, one of the other things I remember her saying is that sometimes you have to give something up so that you can be a better version of yourself for your kids. I so often have to have this conversation with myself because my plate is so full of hobbies that I have. I like to scrapbook, and I like to create and craft, and I like to bake, and I like to visit, and I like to have parties. I have a responsibility in my church congregation that I'm trying to fill. I have so many things on my plate that I'm trying to do at the best of my ability that sometimes I push aside some of my responsibilities as a mom, which is not what I want to do. I really do kind of echo the words of Judy Cook when she said, lose yourself, and sometimes you need to give something up to be a better version of yourself for your kids. So I thought that was a really great tip. Another great tip that she mentioned was, as a mom, we learn how we have to eat humble pie. Never say never. And she told so many good stories about when she said, I will never fill in the blank, right? And there's kind of a lot of, hype going around social media about mom shaming and how we compare ourselves to other moms and we say, oh, I would never do that. You know, we're in the grocery store and she's got her kids running around in bare feet. I will never do that. I will never have my child go to school in their pajamas or whatever it is, like fill in the blank, right? And we say, we'll never do those things. And Judy was saying, never say never, because before you know it, your kids will be that age and you will be overwhelmed with young ones and you will barely get breakfast on the table and you'll be sending your kids off to school in pajamas or whatever it was. So anyway, never say never, because it's impossible to decide whether or not your life is going to go that way. And kind of on the subject of mom shaming, I feel it breaks my heart. Like, we should be banding together and helping each other, not tearing each other down. Being a mom is hard enough as it is. I just want to encourage us to not be the naysayers of other people and really try to encourage them in their journey, so that it may not be the same road as yours, but that doesn't mean that their road is any better or any worse than yours. So anyway, that was kind of a little side tangent of what Judy was talking about, never say never. But anyway, so that was another really good tip. So she talked a lot about something that she learned as being a mom. She said, I learned that I don't own my children. And I was really kind of touched by that, because I have so many hopes and dreams for my kids, expectations, if you will. And my children are young, so I can't speak from experience, but I have my mother-in-law who has stories of her children that she kind of planned one thing for them and they went another way. She expected them to go to the university that her husband works for, my father-in-law, because tuition would be less, and the kids kind of went their own road. And that's just one example. There are so many, but for my own children, I have so many hopes and dreams and beliefs for them, but I really have to remember that I don't own them, and they have their own agency. They have their own choices, and as much as I try to teach them in the way of truth, I really have to allow them to govern themselves, as Joseph Smith taught. The scriptures teach us, we have to teach them in the ways of truth and then allow them to choose for themselves. And it's so hard as a mom to do that, but Judy really explained that one thing that she did learn was how she needed to let her kids go and let them choose for themselves. And it's not easy to hear. It's not easy to accept. Those of you who have children who are of an adult age and are making choices that you yourself were hoping that they wouldn't choose, or you would have chosen something different for yourself, it's hard to see the ones you love take different paths, but we really have to remember that we don't own our children and we can only teach them and then let them choose for themselves. So it was a really good tip that she gave. She talked about, there's so many things, I'm trying to whittle it down so this video isn't forever long, but she talked about we need to remember to try and laugh or cry and not scream or yell. And those emotions, oh my goodness, it's so funny because I feel like every day I have a little story that I could relate to this, but my son's into throwing his toys across the room like he's in football or something, and I just have to remember to step away and find peace and then return to address the situation, because as soon as I hear those toys flying across the room and smashing into whatever they are smashing into, the wall, the chairs, the tables, the TV, whatever it is, I can so easily lose my cool. But, Judy was expressing the importance of laugh at situations, go into another room, cry about situations, really pour your heart out to the Lord, and try not to raise your voice or to yell or scream, especially at your children or your spouse or so many instances that's the natural reaction, and we really have to train ourselves to not raise our voices in an anger or in tones of anger. So that was really great. This was a really funny one. Okay, so she talked about one thing she learned when she was a mom. She said, I learned that families make messes. And it's so true. I feel like I try to keep up with my house. I try to keep up with my dishes, but everything is so messy. And you can buy, those little handcrafted plaques that say, excuse the mess, but we're living here, or we're making memories, or whatever the fun quote says. And she talked about how she had a cupboard, or a closet, I guess it was, excuse me, the nose itch, in her house that she called the junk closet. And she literally used it to scoop or shovel everything into at the end of the day, before company came, anything that she could do to just get the mess out from underfoot so she could feel calm again. You put the kids to bed and you kind of scoop everything away and close the door and feel at peace. And then the next day or a couple days later, she would go through the closet and clean it out and put things away in their proper place. But I feel like we all need to have that cupboard of junk that we can just scoop things away. And I try to have a place in my house that's like my pretty room, I call it. And I teach my kids, this is my pretty room. We don't play in here. We don't have junk in here. So I do have one small space that I can always escape to. That's always, I feel, like my adult space. But families make messes, kids make messes, and it doesn't matter if they're young ones or teenagers. They're always going to make a mess, and especially if you have many young ones or many teenagers in your house. So stop judging each other, love each other, and stop judging yourself, and just allow your kids to make the mess and to have the toys on the floor. And if it's not cleaned up when your husband comes home, it's not the end of the world. You just have to love the journey of motherhood and understand, like, look, the kids are playing with their toys and they're making a mess, and it's not going to be perfect. So anyway, that was a really good tip. So anyway, those were a couple of things she talked about. Now I'm going to read a couple of quotes that she had said during this little meeting that we had, and they were just really good and inspiring, and I want to, needle point them on a pillow or something because they're just so cute. Okay, so the first one she said was, discouragement is a tool of the devil. I love that. And she just said, don't be discouraged. Don't allow yourself to listen. You need to constantly have affirmations is a very, hot word that people like to use. But just some mottos or some words that you say to yourself, look, I'm doing my best. And my best is good enough. This really is all I can do. And Satan will try to discourage you that it's not enough. Your house is messy. Your dishes aren't done. Your dinner is not well-rounded, or it doesn't have enough vegetables, or whatever the discouragement is. There's always a reason for us to doubt ourselves, and we need to push those reasons aside, be encouraged by the Lord, and really self-talk ourselves into knowing that we're doing the best that we can. We're seeking guidance from the Lord. Our kids are going to turn out good if we just put our effort into them and not put our effort into what the discouragement is that Satan is pouring our way. Such a good little chat of conversation that Judy gave us. So I would kind of pass that along to you, is don't be discouraged in your work. Love what you're doing and really put your heart into it. Which leads me to the next quote that she gave. She said, if you love something, it is successful. So love being a mom and love your kids, and you will be successful at it. And then she kind of drew a couple of examples from the world. So she was saying, if you really love crafting, then your craft, you fine tune it, you take classes, you watch other people do it, you do all of this stuff to kind of master the skill of crafting, and you end up having all of these things that you love to make. If you're a good baker and you love baking, then you do it all the time. Again, you watch videos about how to bake certain things, or how to make the perfect cupcake, or create that perfect topping. You watch the Food Network, the Cake Wars or whatever, Cupcake Wars. So you do these things because you love doing them. And then she related that to motherhood, and that if we love motherhood, then we really will be good at it. And we will seek opportunities to learn from others, and we will look for resources that can teach us and train us, tips that will help us be better. So the fact that you're watching this video lets me know that you do love motherhood and you want to be better. So learning from the National Mother of the Year was interesting to you, which is probably why you clicked on this video in the first place. So good job, and just stay the course and stay positive and keep keeping on, as we would say. So that if you do love it, that you will be good at it. Okay, to kind of wrap it up, because I know this video is getting kind of long. There was one talk that was given by a prophet of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And although you may not be a member of this faith, I would really encourage you to read this talk, because it really has some very encouraging and uplifting words from a prophet of the Lord today. And the title is called "To the Mothers in Zion," and it's from President Ezra Taft Benson. I'm going to put a link below for that talk so that you can find it and print it out and put it in your journal, or put it in a place where you can refer to it frequently, because it has so many great encouraging words to the mothers in Zion, coming from a place where it is of love, a place of encouragement, and it really is a great resource. So I would encourage you to hit the description box below and go to that talk, print it out, and listen to it. It's a really great sermon, if you will. If you're not a member of our faith, it's a good sermon that was given, and you will be encouraged by it. So anyway, some great words of encouragement from Judy, and I felt so privileged to be in her company and to listen to her. She wasn't, this incredible woman who had a bucket full of children. She raised 4 kids and in Southern California. So just, a mother of Zion and a mother of the world who was trying to do her part. And she is a great example to me. So anyway, I pass those words on along to you in this video, hoping that her words of encouragement for me can also be words of encouragement to you, and to pass her message on to you, because I know some of you may be looking for just a little boost in your day, or a little encouragement in your journey of being a mom. I love my job, and I am trying to do it with full purpose and heart, as the title of my channel is. Full Purpose and Heart is really dedicated to trying to put all of our effort and all of our heart into whatever gives our passion in life. And for me, that's motherhood. So anyway, have a great day, guys, and hopefully you guys will like this video if the content was encouraging to you, and if you liked the things that we shared today. Leave a comment below if you have any other words of encouragement for moms. That's always encouraging for me to hear. And subscribe to this channel if you'd like to see more videos like this. Have a good one, guys.